Hello and welcome to week 6 of our videos. What we experienced last week was something that we've never actually experienced before in our 22 weeks of being live. Was the volatility was so high, nearly 4 times high, and this happened on Monday. And on the video here you can see here in the green where what happened was we hedged the system due to this volatility. So we had 3 buy orders and 3 sell orders, but because the volatility was so high, the systems protected itself with that, which was very clever. So what we now had to do with the system was let its behaviours behave as such and play out, and this was something that the system did. And yes, we did reach a bit of higher drawdown because of that, but then the system beautifully recovered. So the fundamental difference was the extreme increase in the volatility, which started actually building between January the 29th, 30th and 31st. But during this period, gold's volatility reached levels nearly 4 times higher, as I was saying, compared to the entire historical behaviour of the asset. As in week 5, during those days we were not exposed to the market as the weekly objective had already been achieved. So for that reason there was no impact on the capital. However, in week 6, on February the 2nd, after 3 trades were triggered, the system had to activate its hedging mechanisms in order to protect the capital. And that's exactly what it did, and it's designed within its risk management parameters and framework to do so. The system, of course, is very dynamic, and at this initial stage, the 15% drawdown limit was not breached. Later on, during the volatility regime itself, this limit was automatically adjusted, expanding by up to 3 times because of the volatility. Began to gradually decrease also at the start of the week. When this transition occurred, the system enters an alternative operating regime where trades with only one active exposure at any one time. So for example, if we had 3 buys and 3 sells, that's the system nicely hedging. But what we did is we then opened or closed either positions, so we were still continuing with the trend. And for example, having maybe 3 buys or 3 sells, or vice versa, on the point where, on this example, with the way the system was performing, was we had 3 sells and 2 buys. And then that changed throughout the week, and always protecting the system and always trying to recover some of the losses and the drawdown that the system had created at the beginning of the week. So here we are on Wednesday, okay? So Wednesday, we're here at the beginning of the week. We've had 5 wins and 5 losses, and currently have 3 open buys and 3 open sales. So even so, and only because of this drawdown, it did exceed 30%, while the maximum allowed limit was at 45%, a level that had been progressively reducing as volatility continued to normalize. So during this exceptional market event, positions were not closed over the weekend, remaining in the hedging and under controlled conditions. The week closed with a drawdown of 20.34%, a level that we expect to recover over the coming days of the following week as the market conditions continue to stabilize. Once these positions are closed in profit, the system will return to its stable operating framework, providing volatile returns to the normal levels that we've seen in the previous weeks. If volatility remains elevated, the system will continue operating with a single trade exposure and under a much more conservative and adaptive regime. So what we've learned from this volatility. We've created some new code, some new systems within the system to allow for this moment that we experienced. And as I say, this 4 times higher is something that we've actually not experienced historically. So it's been a great learning curve, but the system has controlled itself, and by the end of the week we really pulled back a lot of the drawdown. And as I say, these next coming weeks and days is when we will look to close off these open positions and get back to full operating procedures again. So thank you very much for watching the video, and any questions, then please reach out to us, and we look forward to continuing providing you all this information. All these kind of updates, when we had this situation, we updated live on LinkedIn and Telegram, and it's important, if you are following our social media channels, that you can see these updates on these channels. So thank you very much, and we look forward to chatting to you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.